but wait, there's more, because it just doesn't ever stop. Day in and day out, never-ending stream of bullshit that I have to put up with every single day of my miserable life. So I'm going to stop. This will be the final video, because if I kept going, there'll be 16 videos by the time I'm done. At this point, I have to write a book series. Not a book, an entire book series to cover in detail absolutely everything from start to finish that has happened, because I have a photographic memory and because absolutely everything is bullshit. Do you know what they accused me of? That's the topic on this video. The first video is assumptions. Second video is about lying. This video is about accusations that are false and truly on just frankly not true. Because when you assume something, ill intent of someone, and then you lie about it, the next step in the process is to just make hard accusations, and then you end up in a witch trial. I think that's why I actually associate so well with a character like Donald Trump and the persona that Trump has built about himself. They're sending that motherfucker, or at least they're trying to send that motherfucker, to prison on felony charges for a misdemeanor. That is beyond the statute of limitations. We'll just make special exceptions and rules for this one person because we all think he's Hitler 2.0 and we gotta take him down. It don't matter anything that is the truth. The stories of how he'll just throw $100 bills out in the hotel lobby for the employees that work at it, and all the employees, they love him to death, and he fucking bought a house or something for a homeless woman in the 90s, and that was a story in New York and all that. No, he's a wonderful person from everything I've seen objectively. Yeah, he's bombastic bastard on Twitter, so am I. That's why they sent the documents to the HR office. 10 pages of documents these motherfuckers that are obsessed with me compiled. Controversial Twitter post, fucking furry porn, whatever. I don't even know all that she had because she only gave me the minor details, and even she admitted that she didn't tell the IT department the full extent of the story because she wasn't wanting to, blow up my professional career on day one. They failed in their attempt to get me fired. I mean, I got fired anyways, not because of anything they did. Attempting, and that's a tactic that is very, very successful online, on Twitter. Some guy with 2 fucking followers complains to Harry's Razors, and the next thing you know, Michael Knowles has lost $1 million sponsor or whatever, because the company freaks the shit out. Oh my god, somebody thinks this guy, Michael Knowles, is a fascist Nazi. We can't sponsor the Daily Wire no more. Fuck Harry's Razors. Ha! Buy one of Jeremy's instead. So, the assumptions have got to fucking stop, because then it just turns into a witch trial. You know what they accused me of when they fired me? Oh, I got accused of stealing company time. Evan, that's theft. We paid you twice to do the same project, and you didn't even do it properly. Well, first of all, that's a lie. Absolute objective bullshit lie. I was told to do this project with these requirements for the engineering team. The engineers tested it. They thought it was great. Nathan, my manager, approved it. The only person in the entire fucking company that had any issue with it was this motherfucker Matt, who gets special rules to work from home because he lives outside of the city with his garden. Everyone in the office gets special rules. There's another lady in the office that, and I understand, and she's an older lady, she's on a breathing system, right, She'd be in the office for like 10 solid minutes. Cough, 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 cough. Great, yeah, she's got a medical condition. She can't control that. We'll make an exception for her. She can create this massive disruption in the office where no one can focus for 10 fucking minutes because it's cough, 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 cough. I'm like thinking, Jesus Christ, do we need an ambulance in here? Is she gonna die? Cough, 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 cough. Holy shit. Are you okay, lady? Like, do you need some help? Oh, but I'm the problem causing a distraction because I laughed at a Steven Crowder video too loudly. And the fucking managers took issue with that. So, you get to lose your job. We'll keep this other person around. They also cause a distraction every time they're in the office. And Matt gets special privileges. He can work from home. I was also accused of, we're not paying you to train on company time. What are you doing watching these training videos? What do you mean, what am I doing? First of all, I was hired for an Angular web app. Number one, I don't have any Angular experience at all. But I've built websites previously with React and TypeScript. It's the same language. It's part of JavaScript library. It's different, though, in how it operates. Guess what? Matt doesn't know two flying shits about Angular either himself. The only reason that we're using Angular for this new fucking project that's going to take 3 years to build, only reason is because some third-party software that they paid $50,000 a year license to use used Angular to build their technology. We're building on top of the third-party tool, therefore we are now using Angular for our team as well. Okay, great. Let's learn Angular. We've got a Udemy subscription, business license subscription for this. We're watching the same videos together. Well, Matt can train on company time, but no, we're not paying to train you. You should have just known all this shit already. Even if I told them in the job interview, I've never done anything in Angular, but I know React, and they're like, oh, yeah, great, we'll hire you anyways. And then we'll fire you 2 months later because you didn't know Angular when you told us you didn't know Angular in the fucking job interview. Like, what am I supposed to do? And so, yeah, they accused me of stealing company time. And she even told me, oh, if the CEO found out that we paid you to do this twice, he would have made you do it from home on your own personal time. First of all, it didn't need to be redone. It worked. It wasn't even tested at all by Matt. The only issue he had was with his fucking ridiculous naming system and rules. And so I wanted to be serious. I treated this as like, this is serious shit. We're having 6 hours of meetings to go over these definition of words. All right. I'm making notes. I'm reading. I'm okay to do this. And he is absolutely obsessive about this to the degree I have not even ever experienced in my life before. And when I show other coders that work in the professional industry, they're like, yeah, this guy is a fucking psychopath. You know, to the point that, you know, SQL databases, the tables, they must absolutely be named singular, not plural. If you got a table of materials and there's a list of material parts, in the materials table, multiple materials in the materials plural table. No, you must name it material, singular. Remove the S. And that's something that he even said that he'll go to war over. Why? Why the flying fuck is it that important to you to remove the S on the end of the name of the fucking database table? Oh, he's also very ornate about acronyms. SQL. S, capital S. Capital Q, capital L. That's how it appears everywhere on the fucking internet. No, that violates the rule on Pascal naming. Capital S, lowercase q, lowercase l on SQL. That is how it must be done. Okay, great, awesome. Taking notes. 6 pages of notes. I'm reading this as like biblical scripture from God. These are the list of Matt's rules to follow if I want him to be impressed with my work. Well, he took extreme offense, extremely offended, that I compiled this list of Matt's coding rules into a document titled Matt's Coding Rules, because we just spent 6 fucking hours going over Matt's coding fucking rules. Well, he blew up on me, oh my god. These are not my rules. These are not my rules. These are C# standards. These are part of the community. How do you not know this stuff? Blah, 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 blah. C#. This guy, like, is on Stack Overflow 24/7, basically, and reading all the forums. Well, guess what? I'm a C# Unity guy. I build video games with my C#, so I'm on the Unity forums. He's on the Stack Overflow forums. He's C#.net. I didn't even realize there was a difference, because as far as I'm aware, I've never seen an implication or in a circumstance that C# is used without .net, so I just assumed that they were basically interchangeable. What do you mean? They're not interchangeable. They're different. How do you not know this? Well, instead of, bitching at me about not knowing this shit, you're supposed to be my fucking mentor. That's what they told me. He was going to be my mentor. So instead of bringing me into the fold and showing me the things that I don't know, they just decided it was not worth them. It's better to fire me after I've already done 2 months of training and gone through all of their interviews and that. Oh yeah, it's better for this project that's already delayed and it's going to take us 3 years. We'll just fire this guy instead of spending an extra month or 2 training him. We'll spend another 2 months interviewing for the next guy, and then 2 months to hire him, and then he'll train for 2 months, and we'll start this fucking project in December. And you wonder why the tech industry is on fucking fire right now and everyone's getting laid off because management is shit. I went into the company with the impression that this company's been here for 40 fucking years. Awesome. I don't have to deal with any of the crap that I dealt with before in the past, with these shady fly-by-night startups where the managers don't even know shit about how to run a business. Great. They've been here for 40 years. I'm going to be here for at least 3 because that's what they hired me to do, and that was the obligations I agreed to. I didn't want to be living in Calgary because I do have the goal of moving to America. But, 3 years, this is great. I'll get some experience in corporate tech. Maybe it can lead to that job in America in the future. Well, no, they fired me 2 months later. Now that looks like shit on my resume because then everyone's going to say, why? Why? Because Matt's a fucking asshole, that's why. So, they fired me because Matt did not like the way I named things. And then when I tried to name things based on his ridiculous rule system, he took extreme offense to the fact that I called it Matt's coding rules. These are not rules, these are guidelines. And so now it's the same thing, the same process of being interrogated like I'm in a police fucking investigation room at my fucking job. Only now it's not over the code. Now it's over the list of fucking rules that I put in the document. Well, guess what? Documentation doesn't even fucking exist there. They've been there for 40 years. And so that was weird and a red flag to me. I'm asking my manager, Nathan, you guys don't document anything? Like, if I came in day 1 and Matt had his own, list of guidelines to follow, not rules, guidelines. These are Matt's guidelines. And these are not Matt's guidelines. These are C# guidelines. Okay, great. If that document existed on day 1, I wouldn't have to do it for them and then get yelled at because I didn't do it the way they wanted. My manager, Nathan, this is a verbatim quote. He said that the automation team, which is the software engineering team within the internal department of this larger organization, the software team, he said, was like a startup within a larger organization. Oh, great! I got hired at a company that's been here for 40 years, and I'm in the same fucking shit I've always been stuck in, fly-by-night startups where everything is on fire and everything is delayed and everything is behind schedule, and I'm not even working on the project I was hired to do. When I got a job for 4 months, it was my first tech job. It was an internship at Lethbridge College. That was my very first year in university. The same freaking shit then. The day that I joined, the day that I started work, the marketing director quit her job to go do something else with her life. Well, guess what? The website team is part of the marketing department. All these projects that we had planned for you to do during the summer that we hired you for, we can't do them anymore without approval from the marketing director who is no longer here. And because we don't have a new one, immediately available to go, what did I get paid to do? Anything and everything. Whatever they pulled out of their ass 20 minutes prior and said, well, I guess we'll give them this today to do and that today. And so it's just task rabbit at that point. You just do this and then do that and maybe we'll do this. There were some days they didn't even tell me to do anything, and so I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm sitting here getting paid $16.50 an hour to watch videos on YouTube of the E3 video game conference because it was going on at the time, and I had literally nothing to do. So the 4-month internship that was supposed to be my first experience in the tech corporate culture only lasted 3 because at some point they just decided, what's the point of keeping him? There's nothing for him to do. And all he's doing is watching videos, and we can't blame him because we haven't told him to do anything. So I lost that job too, after 3 months when it was supposed to be a 4-month internship. I got fired at the end of July. I was supposed to be there until August and go back to school in September. That was my first experience in tech, so this doesn't ever freaking end with the accusations and the bullshit and the lies. No one ever fucking hires me to do anything that they actually tell me to do. And so I find myself sympathizing with unscrupulous characters like Trump, he's a pretty bombastic guy. He's done some shady shit. You kind of have to do that to become a billionaire. Timothy Peterson, I kind of sympathize with the guy, even though he destroyed all my shit, and all of your shit too. And a $40 million building that the ski resort lost. So, I'm trying to navigate my way through this because all everyone ever chooses to think and see in me is that I'm just this horrible piece of shit criminal, And then it's night and day, because on the other hand, they'll turn around and, oh, I'm this awesome, fantastic, friendly guy. I'm the resident Spider-Man at the ski resort. I got the Spider-Man workout gear that I love to wear, and everyone loves it. It's great, and Evan's great, and it's fantastic. Oh, but we're gonna destroy his life for shits and giggles, because it's fun to watch his life burn, right? That's this guy that sent the documents to the HR lady. The only reason that didn't lead to termination on day 4 of the job was because I lucked out and got an HR lady who was a fucking human being. Instead of just terminating me and then acting like a fucking formality because, oh, well, we can't have someone with controversial opinions on Twitter. And most of the stuff I don't even, genuinely believe anyway. If I make a controversial, shit post about Putin blowing up nuking the planet to hell, do I actually agree with Putin? No. Am I sucking Putin's dick? No. Is he giving me any special favors? No. I'm not part of the oligarch. But, at some point, it's like, man, maybe Putin should just blow this whole species into extinction. Because the human species is just shit. Absolute objective shit. I'm trying to find decent people, and all everyone ever does is lie to me. And so, you know what my best friend thinks about me? My absolute best fucking friend in the fucking world, who I haven't spoken to in years. I knew this guy for 3 years. He's part of the reason I went out to Vancouver. And, maybe not Waterloo or Ontario or some other place in Canada that also is big in tech. Big tech in Vancouver. This guy that I really like, that I met at a furry convention, we shared a bed together. Not in that way. No. We slept in the same bed. Literally just sleeping in a bed together. But I found out later, even that is something that he has never done with anyone else. Or anyone else anyone he should bed to himself. Because he's asexual. And even sleeping next to someone makes him uncomfortable. He was totally comfortable sleeping next to me. I thought that was interesting. I took note. Oh, this guy actually, he could be my boyfriend. And I'm starting to fall in love with him now. I know he's asexual and I respect that. And so I understand that asexual people can have partnerships and relationships. They can even have sex, apparently, according to the asexuals on Twitter that I've been at war with for freaking years. And they claim, they will tell me till I'm blue in the freaking face. Asexuals still have sex, but they don't, because that violates the rule name. This is not Matt's ridiculous rules. This is literally the English language. The A before sexual means you don't have sex, the same way that the A before atheist means that you don't follow any practicing religion. If you go to church every week and you're praying to God and you're singing the hymns and then you still say, yeah, but I'm an atheist, no, you're not. By the literal definition of the fact of the word, you're not an atheist. Just like you're not asexual if you have sex. Just like the A before everything means the opposite. Amoral is the opposite of moral. Antidote is the antidote. Okay, right? So they don't just get to arbitrarily decide on a whim that these special changes of the words and the definitions now are legitimate. They're not. But I respected this guy. And so when I told him that I loved him and wanted to be his boyfriend, I saw that as a platonic thing. I still love him. God. I love his personality and his wit and his humor and his charming face and his smile. That's what I love about him. But all he chose to hear was, I'm gonna fucking rape you. Do you know how freaking hard it is to get an erection with the social anxiety disorder? It's almost impossible when it's consensual. And the other guy is begging me. He wants me so badly, but it's just not fucking happening because my brain is broken. I couldn't rape someone if I fucking tried. And that's all he thinks I am, is some rapist. My best friend told me if I didn't stop talking to him, he would take legal action to protect himself. What the fuck does that mean? Get a fucking restraining order against your goddamn best friend. Fuck you, Alan. The only reason I didn't jump off the bridge into the Fraser River like everyone wanted me to do was because of my friend Justin in Lethbridge, who I'm crashing with when I get back to Canada, and I have nothing to look forward to after this trip. He convinced me, he freaking begged me not to kill myself and to come back to Alberta and to live with my parents. It was only going to be 6 months. I was going to figure things out. I was going to get a job in Calgary. It would take 6 months. Life was going to get so much better. It's been 6 fucking years of this shit. And it doesn't ever stop. I got a $600 ticket for driving an ice cream truck uninsured because the manager of the company just didn't happen to renew the insurance on her vehicle. I was at fault because I was legally held liable. I think that's extremely immoral. I shouldn't be held liable. Yes, I'm technically liable. I should have known the vehicle was not insured. But also, that's not my business or my fucking job. Well, guess what? My dad's a mechanic, and they got their own company vehicles too. And I'm pretty sure that if his boss didn't renew the insurance on his car, and he got pulled over in the company vehicle and got a violation for driving an insurance of the vehicle, not insured, I'm pretty sure my dad would be freaking livid too. What the fuck are you doing with your business? You can't even run a fucking business properly. And then I tried dishwashing, and 3 weeks later my house burned to the ground. So I can't do anything. I can't do fucking anything that doesn't blow up in my face and destroy my life. Other people, they work jobs to get a better life and to earn money and to buy things. Every last dollar and dime I earn goes into fixing the shit and the damage that having these jobs in the first place causes. So, at this point, I guess I'll just be a warden of the state. I'll just be on EI forever, because what the fuck is the point of getting another job if it's only just going to make my life worse again? It's at the point now that I may never be able to rent anywhere ever again because of the amount of violations that I have committed against lease and tenant agreements based on the fact that I was told that I had a job that was secure. I guess that's my problem, is that I just believe people. And all they ever do is fucking lie to me. And then they accuse me, and then they hold the accusations and the assumptions over my head like a fucking anvil. Like a lead anvil over my head. I guess that's why I'm a UFO guy, honestly. Part of coming down for this trip, my birthday's on the 8th. It just happens to be the anniversary of the printing of the Roswell newspaper when the UFO there crashed. Technically, the incident happened on the 3rd of July. That's when Mac Brazel actually noticed the spaceship or whatever crash into his ranch property. And then the military came out and they did the reconnaissance of everything. And then you get the photo, the famous, infamous photo from the Roswell newspaper on the 8th of July with the officer on the ground holding the piece of tinfoil that's obviously from a weather balloon and not the special magic metal that everyone talks about that the UFO community now refers to as Art's Parts because of Art Bell. I don't know what that metal is. No one does. It's magic because you can crumple it up into a ball and it immediately folds back and is perfectly flat without creases. So that's not the stuff that they that's not the tinfoil shit from the weather balloon that they put in the newspaper. But because of the anniversary being on my birthday, I happen to be born in 97. It's 50 years after, which means that for my 50th birthday, I'll be back down here again, assuming I don't die from a freaking heart attack before I turn 30 first. If I'm actually still alive by the time I get to 50, it'll be the 100-year anniversary of the Roswell UFO crash. And so, yeah, I believe people if they tell me that they were abducted by aliens and they stuck an anal probe up their ass. What reason would you have to lie about something like that? Honestly, why? Why lie about anything? So the accusations have to stop, the lies have to stop, and for God's sakes, the assumptions have to stop. Because it cannot go on like this forever, or else they will manifest themselves into reality. I will just become the next Timothy Peterson at that point, because I am fucking done with this world. You know? I am trying to do things properly, and all anyone ever does is accuse me of being a criminal. Even my friend Justin, who's letting me crash on his couch this morning, when he called me and begged me not to go to the airport because he was convinced that if I did, it could lead to permanent suspension from the country of America. I got through security. It took 40 minutes. And I explained the situation, that this trip that was supposed to be a week turned into however long I needed to relax and distress after losing my job. But then that looks suspicious because now I don't have a job and I'm going down to America for undisclosed period of time. At most, come back at Christmas with the family, right? The officer refuses to believe that I have a good relationship with my parents. And the only reason I do is because I was fucking homeless in Vancouver. I kicked them out of my life because they were very over controlling, helicopter type parents, and my life was pretty miserable as a kid. Everything fun that kids got to do, I didn't. Violent video games, whatever games with guns, shows that have, the shows that have violence in it and fighting, Power Rangers. I couldn't watch I love the Power Rangers. They were great. I was banned from watching it because my mom thought that the Power Rangers was causing me to physically fight with my brother. I did physically. I think he scratched me in the back, and so I bit him in the shoulder. We were very physically abusive to each other. My mom associated that specifically with the Power Rangers, so I was banned from watching that. So, it's been that way my entire life, and so I kicked them out. I was like, I want to be my own person, and I'm also gay. They're religious. It just happens to be a conflict of interest. So, yeah, when I went out to Vancouver, that was kind of the last time they ever spoke to me because of the OCD. I left behind the rental property that they had to fix. They spent the entire summer, $10,000 put into the repairs and stuff and the damage that having a mental illness causes. And so I tried really freaking hard not to do that when I was in Vancouver. Well, guess what? It didn't freaking work anyways because my landlord is a piece of shit that accused me of destroying her house based solely on the fact that I left a freaking sticker on the wall next to the electrical outlet. And there was some minor erosion from water on the mirror. Oh my god, you destroyed the fucking house. I can't believe it. My house is destroyed. You want to see a destroyed house? I'll show you the pictures of the house my parents had to fix. That was destroyed. Don't you dare accuse me of destroying your house because that's a freaking sticker on the fucking wall. I tried so hard not to be that guy, and I got accused of it anyways. So, again, why try to do anything when all I ever do just upsets everyone? I'm just a piece of shit criminal, I guess. You know what the name Evan stands for? You know what Evan means? Evan means God is good. I'm trying really freaking hard to understand if that's even a lie itself too. Because all God ever does is give me literal freaking hell to deal with in my life. And my own mother just blames and associates all of it with being gay and turning my back on God. Because she just assumes and associates and thinks that I haven't ever prayed in my freaking life for help. It's not, oh, dear God, I want a Ferrari. Oh, I didn't get a Ferrari, therefore God's not real. No, it's, dear God, please don't let this disease rip my freaking family apart, and it almost did. Only reason I got back in one piece in Alberta was because of Harley Dickinson. Because I needed some money for the U-Haul at the 11th hour again. Because I'll take a 3-hour freaking shower to deal with the anxiety, to make myself feel comfortable. Well, 3-hour shower puts me 3 hours behind schedule, right? So, last minute at the U-Haul, my parents don't have e-transfer, Harley Dickinson does. He was sending me money already to help after I lost the job in tech. Because now I'm on the hook for a $1,450 plus utilities rental property in Vancouver based on the fact that I had a $5,000 a month job. Well, guess what? I got a summer job driving an ice cream truck for $700. My lease agreement says I'm paying $1,450. So I was on welfare too. Oh, my friends took issue with that too. Oh, you're just a shit criminal. You're gaming the system. You can't be on welfare and working and making money. I just barely scraped by on both. And getting $250 every month from Harley. $700 driving an ice cream truck, $250 from Harley, and on EI. And it just barely covered rent and food. It's like the meme of, well, I have made enough money to pay for rent. Now I have a roof over my head to starve to death. I see the death of my parents as my own death. Because when they die, who's left to support me? This will be the 5th time I've been homeless. The first time was in Vancouver. The second time was when I came back. And 2 months later, the fucking pandemic happened, and we all had to go through that shit together. And then I had a roommate in Calgary who was also a furry. Well, he didn't like the OCD. He kicked me out after 18 months. I was subleasing from him, so he was good with the landlord. He kicked me out. He pulled those strings, just like Matt pulled the strings at this other company to get me fired, because he has those strings to pull. Third time, I was homeless last year. 1 year ago when my house burned down. We were all homeless that day. Even my manager in the kitchen is making jokes at the Fairmont Hotel. They slide the paper under the door that says, "Oh, dear valued guest of the Fairmont Hotel, we are changing your room accommodations to this other room for the following night." He's laughing. Valued guest, we're all homeless here. You all know who I'm talking about, because he's the only one that talks in that voice. Yeah. Fourth time I was homeless was when I got kicked off of the ski hill and forced into living on the streets in the middle of winter in Banff, Alberta, which happens to be freaking fucking cold in January. And now this will be the fifth time I'm homeless, so I guess that's just all I'm ever going to do. I'm just going to be a warden of the state forever, and I'm just going to live at my parents' house until they die, and then I'll inherit the property. And that'll be the only way that I ever get to own property in my life, because I can't even afford to feed myself anymore. And whatever money I made at this company, because it did make a lot, and yeah, I can't afford to go on vacation, which I'm doing right now to de-stress as soon as these videos are done. But that money's not going to last forever. When it goes bye-bye, I'm back to borrowing money from friends and family and eating off my mother's dinner table because I can't cook for myself, because it costs so much money for food, and gas is $17 billion, and the hotel room that I'm staying in right now apparently is in fentanyl capital of the city. It still costs me over $100, because all the other ones in the nice part of town are $300. My mom just went for a week to Orlando with my sister, and she spent over $1,000 on hotel fees. Just money up the wazoo, because everyone just makes $1 billion a year, I guess. So, at some point, people are just going to throw their hands up in the air like my friend, the correctional officer, and say, I just don't give a shit anymore. And that is in light of the fact that I got harassed the living shit out of as a tourist coming down at the border, at the northern border. America, you got to get this shit together for God's sakes and decide, do you actually care about the law or not? Because you can't have it both ways. On one hand, you'll harass the living shit out of the Canadians that want to tour in your country because it's the best country on earth. Got my fucking American socks on right now. Happy 4th of July, motherfuckers. The southern border is just lawlessness and chaos, and no rules apply. Biden gives amnesty to 300,000 illegal migrants. They just came from Honduras on a boat up through Mexico, and they wandered into the country, and the next day they go to the DMZ. Hey, here you go, buddy. Here's all your documents, your work permits. Welcome to America. As a Canadian, I can't ever come down here for any longer than a week vacation, apparently, I guess, because it requires family ties. I don't have I have an uncle who's in Texas, but he's not direct family, so it doesn't count. And I don't have a degree because I dropped out of school, so I can't get an H-1B visa. And student visa is not applicable because I don't have millions and millions and millions of dollars to pay for education in America, which is exorbitantly expensive, especially for outsiders. It's a lot more expensive as an outsider in America. And even for Americans, they're already through the roof in their own student loans, and nobody can pay it off. So, I'm trying to find some resolution here. I'm trying to find a path to follow, because it doesn't seem that I can really do much of anything, whether it's tech or not. Everyone had made that assertion. They made that assumption, and then they made the accusation. Oh, it's only because you're in tech, and because tech is a shady business, and because there are all these fly-by-night startups, you need to try something else. You need to try the trades. You need to do this. I have zero fucking interest in being in the trades at all. It is not where my passion lies. Yes, I have done construction. I competed at the Skills Canada competition in Alberta, in Edmonton, because I was pretty good with woodwork, and I have some welding experience. That don't mean I want to do it for a job. I also have a pilot's license, too. 2 of them! I went in the Air Cadets for 6 freaking years. I could be a pilot, too. I don't really want to, because I want to work in tech. That's my dream job. So stop trying to force all this other bullshit down my throat. I only took a job washing dishes at the ski resort because I had nothing else to do, and my last boss was a pedophile. And the only reason I worked for him was because I had nothing else to do. There was not a single motherfucker on this planet that would pay me to do anything, anywhere, at any time for anyone. Except for him, of course. And I knew that there was some shady accusations about this particular character. I didn't believe him, because the same people that accused me of all the shit I knew was a lie were making the same accusations about him. So I just figured that it's one of those situations where they're probably just making bullshit up. They probably just don't like him. Broken Clock is right twice a day, apparently. Jason Grant is actually a piece of shit motherfucker who destroyed a family. And like I said, he smuggled drugs across the border. You think the DEA is going to do two fucking shits about that? Oh, no. You can... I can't bring a carload of shit down because I ran out of time to put it in storage so it looks suspicious. Oh, you can bring your drugs, all the drugs you want, down to Oklahoma, for God's sakes. It's the reddest of red states, as I understand. Deep Republican. This is not liberal California. Let's decriminalize all drugs. You know, if they decriminalize heroin in Vancouver, BC, that don't mean you can fly down to Texas and shoot it up there, because the DEA ain't gonna give two flying fucking shits about the Canadian drug laws. His wife, in the Discord call, he says, I need to get some more of this psilocybin to take down to the furry convention in Oklahoma. His wife, in the background, who realizes her husband's probably a fucking idiot, he just admitted to a felony, on a Discord call with 3 other people in the chat, she says, we have medical licenses to use it. Bullshit. Yeah. Weed is decriminalized now in Canada. You can get a medical license for weed. Not for fucking psilocybin. It's still Scheduled 1 drug. It could be decriminalized the same way weed was in the next 5 years because they were doing academic research on the potential cures for mental illness. But it's not now. And so even if you had the medical license to take it down to America, the DA ain't going to give 2 shits about what the Canadian drug law says. So there you go. Everyone I know and I've encountered in my life is just a criminal.